Dana here from Mind Over MS, brought to you by Energy Over Matter. Welcome back to the podcast. This week we're going to be talking about dry brushing. So dry brushing is another tool that we can add in to our daily routine that's going to help us to detoxify, move our lymph system, increase blood flow in the body, and also potentially help with stimulating the sensory nerves that are going up to the brain. So all of these things can be beneficial for anybody, regardless of whatever kind of health conditions you might have, or even if you're just generally healthy and you're just looking for ways to just maintain that. But in reference to MS, these things will help us in a few ways. So first, I'd like to just start by talking about the brush just in general. So the brush itself should be hard bristled brushes. You don't want to have it to be synthetic fibers. So when you're shopping for your brush, please try to pick one that is natural fibers. Also for myself, I picked one that even the handle, the wooden handle, it's not stained and it doesn't have any lacquer or varnish on it, so that way there's nothing off-gassing, because the whole point of this is to be trying to clean up our body. We don't want to be adding more things into it. Also for myself, I bought a brush that had a long handle so that it made it easier to use, especially for any of you that might have mobility issues, or even just with ease of reaching different places on your body. Also, handle can be removed so that you can just use the brush just in a more close and controlled manner. So the brush itself then, it's mine, because I have children in my house, and apparently one of my children is named I Didn't Do It. They used my brush to, I think, remove makeup or like Halloween costume makeup. And so anyway, you can wash these things, and I would just use some kind of Castile soap, something gentle that's, again, non-toxic. You can wash it. Mine got a little stain, but this is something that I picked up 15 years ago for the first time when I first seen my very first naturopath after being diagnosed with MS. And she was actually all the things I'm almost doing now. She suggested all those things to begin with. But like I've talked about in other episodes, my MS wasn't that bad for a long time. So, I didn't really pay that much attention to some of these follow-up things because I wasn't doing that bad. And so I didn't notice that I needed to do them. But now I've picked it up again from having read Terry Wall's book. She is, if any of you don't know her, a doctor that is a neurologist actually, and ended up contracting MS herself, and has done a really good job of moving the needle forward on alternative things on top of pharmaceuticals, because she realized the limitations of just going allopathic medicine. So when I read her book again just recently on this big relapse I had, I picked up the dry brush again. I had lost my other one at some point in a move at some time, but I bought one again and I started using it. Now, I know for some of you that have issues, like I know my hands are numb myself too, so it can be a bit difficult. So if you have a hard time doing this beautiful self-care practice to yourself, enlist the help of somebody else if you have someone that can help you, because that might be a really beautiful bonding moment for you as well. And then again, before we even start on this, I don't want this to feel like to you something that is a chore and that you have to add in with all the other things you're already putting in your self-care routine. This can just be like a really nice moment that you just take for yourself. It shouldn't take longer than 5 minutes to complete it. And maybe pair it up with something else. So when you first wake up in the morning and you're putting your feet down on the ground, maybe be thinking about gratitude, about what your intention is for that day. Maybe that's where you do prayer, anything else that you might want to add into your day. You can, do that mentally while you're actually doing all this benefit to your body, and just incorporate it into something else. So with that being said, this is ideally done in the morning because it's going to be before a shower. So when you're doing this, you are I know a lot of people exfoliate in the shower, but I would say if you're doing it there when the hot water is on you, it's opening your pores, and it's also stripping moisture out of you and the oils out of you, which is not really something that you would be looking to do. So ideally, you're going to do the dry brushing first. This at a very basic level, besides the health benefits, it is just exfoliating your skin. So it's sloughing off the dead cells, and it's going to make your skin feel smoother, softer. So then once all that dry skin is removed, you want to go into the shower and then you want to wash it off. As a side note as well, another Ayurvedic trick is going to be that you might want to put some oil back in your skin after the shower. So I would never recommend commercial available lotions because they have all kinds of things in there that I don't even know how to pronounce, fragrances and things that are unhealthy for you. You want to think about anything you put on your skin that it would be something that you would eat as well because it is ingesting through your skin. So I use coconut oil. It's good for cooking. I would eat it. I would give it to my children. So if it leaks through and seeps into my skin, that's fine by me because, again, I would have eaten it anyway. Okay, so then going back to the dry brushing. So you take 5 minutes to do this. There's going to be a demo at the end of the video, so I'll go through then with you then how to actually use it. And then you'll have your shower. Now, the things that this is going to do for you. So there's quite a few of them. So the at a basic level, then we already talked about exfoliating the skin. So when we're trying to, I know a lot of people, when you're impaired with your movement, you're not really exercising. So you do, though, want to be able to sweat. So if you do get the chance to exercise, I know we did a video last week on rebounder. If you're already at the level of function that you can add in a rebounder, or if you are able to exercise, this is going to be even better because once you exfoliate the skin, you open up an unclogged pores, sweating becomes more efficient. So now you're going to be able to sweat out more toxins because you opened up the pores with your dry brush. And then the next thing that's going to do is just move the circulation of blood flow around your body. So just at the surface level, when this is touching your body, you're moving the blood around. And that is obviously going to help you as it goes into the deeper lobes of your lungs. You're going to have a better gas transfer, so you're more oxygenated throughout your body. And then also you are going to be able to move the blood around, so it's going to filter more through your liver and through other parts of your body. Now, as a side note, then when we're talking just about the skin, I know some people say that this is good for cellulite. I've personally never used it for cellulite, so I don't even have anecdotal evidence that that's going to work. But I think looking at the research of both sides, because obviously if you look online, you're going to have what the medical side says and then what the natural side says, and they're not always conflicting. I mean, they're all often conflicting. I would say that at least at a minimum, because you're moving blood flow into an area, it might pump up the areas with cellulite. And so at least temporarily, it looks maybe relieved. I don't know if it's a long-term effect or not. I've never used it for that reason, so I don't have any anecdotal evidence supporting one way or the other. But if it does work, that's fantastic. That's just another thing that will benefit you. Okay, so the next thing would be we want to drain. The real thing with the MS here is we want to get our lymph system moving. So especially if you are impaired with exercise and moving around, your lymph system doesn't have its own pump. So it's not like your heart where even when you're just sitting resting, it's just going to be pumping. So the lymph system, we have to move it ourselves. So I know we talked already too one time about the lymph system, the lymphatics, which is in your brain. So very important for people with MS because you're already having so much inflammation, possibly leaky brain barrier that's allowing toxins there. So at nighttime when we're sleeping, and if any of you that follow me, hopefully at this point you're sleeping with your mouth taped and with your head facing south. We're getting a good night's sleep. Our brain is squeezing. It's releasing the toxins back into our system to be removed. We've been laying flat all night, so our lymph isn't really moving. So when we first stand up in the morning, we want to get the lymph moving so we can start detoxifying all of those things. So that's why, again, it's good to maybe do this brushing in the morning to get the lymph moving. And that's just stimulating your body everywhere. And so, I mean, it is also because you are actually moving, you're bending, you're putting your arms up to do the brushing. So there's even just some level of just moving your body around, but you're also stimulating, and where the mind goes, energy flows. So when we're consciously thinking about where we want to move things in our body, there is a mind effect to that as well. And then also there is just a physical effect of just like stimulating that area and having it move. So that's going to be really beneficial to us as well. Now, another thing that this does is it calms the nervous system. So it is like they do it in spas, and you can get these, you can feel even that effect to yourself. Like if you're taking time in the morning and you're, systematically and methodically brushing yourself, it is a moment to kind of like self-care and then having the shower, then oiling your skin after. I mean, these are nice practices to like integrate to take care of ourselves. So that is just calming, putting us into parasympathetic mode so that we're resting, digesting, healing at that point. But I'm going to suggest another thing. And again, I'm not a neurologist, so I'm not holding myself out as this is factual or true, but it makes sense to me. And I believe that truth stands the test of time. Dry brushing has been talked about in Ayurvedic medicine for 5,000 years, probably longer than that because knowledge was passed down from guru to disciple just orally previous to that. But you also see this is found in like Egyptian, Greek, Roman times too. So, I mean, our ancestors wouldn't pass this down generationally to us if it didn't have some good effect on us. So I'm going to suggest as well, that this is doing a couple things on your nervous system. So as you are pushing this along your skin, you are triggering all of the afferent sensory nerves that are in your body. Now, for myself, anyway, I'm not sure what you guys have as far as MS symptoms or any other neurological issues, but parts of my skin are numb. Parts of them have feeling, and parts of them have like pins and needles, like an electrical feeling. And so it changes throughout the day. So I have a feeling a few things are happening here. So when I was doing physio to try to recover my mobility, I was thinking, okay, it makes sense to me that when we're trying to move our muscles into certain patterns over and over, we train certain muscle groups, certain motions that are the real estate that's still left in our brain can have neuroplasticity and can tell the muscles to move in certain patterns, and we can kind of control that because that's coming from top down, right? It's efferent, it's descending information. So our brain still has like an ability of mind over MS, right? We're thinking about something and our body's doing it. But how do we train the nerves that are coming from sensation up into the brain, which is half of the system, right? We have to feel where we are in space. We have to feel pressure. We have to feel heat. We have to feel things in order for it to give information to our brain on how to move in the environment. So how do we make and stimulate these afferent nerves to come up and to start finding new pathways? Well, I would say that if you're touching this dry brush, because it is bristly, like you can hear that in the mic probably, that when you're doing that, you are stimulating all of these nerves. And these are peripheral nerves. And we have to remember that with MS, these are not damaged, right? That it's the signals in our brain is damaged. So when we stimulate these, they start to fire, and they're going to, again, just intuitively make sense. You could decide if it makes sense to you or not to. They're going to be firing and finding new ways to get up to the brain. And if that is not happening, and say even then at another level, so scale down when we are doing this, we're at least gauging now what has feeling, what doesn't, what has changes from day to day. Now I know MS can, vary throughout the day depending if we're hot, if we're tired, different times, and definitely day to day can change our symptoms too. But this is a nice gauge to just see what has changed. Is it getting better because of any of these practices I've added? And so this can be kind of like a metric test. You're almost self-testing yourself every day to be like, wow, you know what, today is better than yesterday. Or, I didn't have a good sleep last night. Or yesterday I didn't really follow the diet as well. Or I didn't do whatever, thing is part of your routine. And maybe you can start to like gauge benefits based on using the brush. So there's a lot of benefits of using this. Just on top of it is it just also is a nice way to just take care of yourself and take a few minutes to practice gratitude and to either bond with yourself, or maybe if you're having somebody help you, to have an intimate moment with somebody as well too. So next we'll move on to the demo. So I hope that this is something that you pick up and that you add to your routine, because again, you can buy this for it's relatively inexpensive. You can probably get it at a pharmacy, at any natural health store, or just online as well too, probably, $10 or $20, depending on the quality. I paid a little bit more for mine just because I was really paying attention again to natural fibers and natural wood product on there. But I mean, it's the kind of thing, even if your kids or the I didn't do it person, stains it with a little bit of something, it still will last you a long time, right? This is something that doesn't need to be replaced too often. So with that being said, then enjoy the demo, and I will be back next week with a new suggestion on what we can do to start removing things from our bucket. Because I just want to remind you again here that I'm not suggesting that dry brushing is going to take the MS away. It's not a cure, but just like we added things over our life into our bucket, right? Bad people, bad decisions and thoughts and food and environmental stressors and all of these things. These little things that we're going to do are going to start taking things out. And we never know what the final thing is that'll move the needle for us feeling better. And it could be the dry brushing. That could be the one thing that you add in that moves the needle for you back to health. So like this video, please, and subscribe to my channel to get updates on future content and find out more things that maybe help you on your health journey. So be blessed. Have a great week. For those of you that might have mobility issues or a hard time bending down if you're in a wheelchair or any other issues, you might want to keep the brush long for this part, and you could start then using this on your feet. This is also a good way to reach your back if you can't. For me, I'm going to go ahead and remove the wood piece, and I'm going to use it by hand because I am able to bring my feet up. So in this case, where we're going to start is on our feet, and we are going to move down our foot, and we're going to start on the yin side, which is on the inside of our leg, and we're going to go in long strokes. And we're going to try to only do the same area once or twice, and we're moving it up towards the lymph gland, which is just on the inside of our groin. So as we pass along, we're going to continue to move along our foot, and then we're going to end up doing the outside of the other foot. And in this case, we're just going to keep moving all the way up, long, gentle strokes. Don't brush too hard against the skin, and avoiding any areas of broken skin, moles, cuts, or any other issues. We'd repeat that on the other leg, and taking a few minutes to methodically make sure that we cover all areas of our body. We also then want to raise our hand, and again, we're going to start with the yin side, which is the softer inside. And we're going to stroke down through our palm, all the way down in long strokes, and we're trying to drain it just under our left underarm. And as we move around to the outside, that's the yang side. And we would continue to do that, again, always making sure that we're bringing the lymph towards our heart and towards where our glands are. Now, a large portion is just by the left breast. And after you do that, you can then start moving on your neck down. And again, you're moving towards your heart. Now, your skin on your neck and on your chest tends to be more sensitive. So you might want to do lighter brush strokes and making sure that you're not going over the same area over and over, especially in the beginning. You don't want to irritate your skin. And then on the rest of your body, you want to be doing either circular. And again, you're going to be going up the right side, across, down the left side. And you can do circles this way to move the fluid, or you can, again, just be moving it, in a direction towards where your lymph nodes are placed, which the main ones are going to be underarms and in your groin. So that's just a quick little tutorial. This whole process should be under 5 minutes. So go ahead and experiment with that and enjoy.